All right, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Courtney Rollins with another episode content for the Life and Transitions Experts YouTube channel and podcast. Please forgive me because this is actually I'm repeating some content that I did live on Facebook a couple of days ago, but I did not post on my YouTube channel or other groups. So I want to share it again because I want to make sure everyone or that you have the opportunity to see this. Also, you'll notice my voice is out. I'm having a little bit of cold here, but we're going to make it through. And this is an important topic to talk about today, so I'm glad that we're able to discuss this. Perhaps you're selling your property. Perhaps you are looking at all the expenses that are going into selling your property that may be unexpected, particularly the closing cost. So that may be something that you may be familiar with if you sold property before or purchased property before. Quite often in traditional sales, both sides, the seller and the buyer, will split and share the closing costs. However, we're going to talk today about if you do certain things such as negotiate that down with a traditional buyer or go with a cash buyer like my company at State Pro Service or whoever that you find that's a vetted, trusted cash buyer. You, you should not be paying the closing costs, and those are the main ways to avoid it. Cash buyer that's vetted will help you avoid the closing costs. But let's take a look at some of the closing costs that are associated that you can avoid and some that are usually just come par for the course. All right, so the real estate agent commission, that's something that you should expect to pay about 3.5 to maybe 6%. It really depends on your relationship with your agent. Some will take flat fees as low as 1%. Some will work as hard as high as 7 or 8, or it really depends. The average is about 3.5 if it's paying for your listing agent if you're listing it. And again, it depends on the level of service they're providing, and they should be paid well because real estate agents do a great job of making sure many eyes get on it, giving you trusted advice, and are serving as fiduciaries for you. So they have your, I mean, everyone should have your interests in mind, but they have a fiduciary responsibility for you. So they should be compensated well. So that is the real estate agent commission that you'll be expected to pay if you're going the traditional route. Now, of course, if you go with a cash buyer, they should usually they're buying cash directly to you, so there shouldn't be a real estate commission. If they even have a real estate agent that they're working with, they should be the ones paying that. So that's one of the reasons going with a cash buyer for folks who want speed and convenience. It's one of the benefits of that. But again, it depends on your situation. Also, the title search and insurance. Every title search, there has to be a, well, it doesn't have to be, but it's very important for whoever's buying the property to have some expectation that there isn't some break in chain in title. In other words, someone in the past can't come back and have make a claim on that property. And that title insurance is what a title company or closing attorney provides to help people recognize that, hey, this you have clear title here, and if for whatever reason it's not clear, you're insured, so you can combat if you have to in the court of law, or you can be compensated in case uh, there was an error. But it's very important to have, and it costs. So the title search and the insurance for the title is another part. The attorney fees, the closing attorney or the title company that's using an attorney, there has to be some attorney fees to do the work. So that comes as expected as well. That's part of the closing costs. Now, the property tax. Now, this is something that most cash buyers have in their contract that, regardless of if if they're paying all the other closing costs, the property tax is usually something that is paid from, the proceeds of the sale. You can negotiate. I have worked with sellers in the past, or where my company has agreed to buy the property, and pay for the property tax. It doesn't normally happen, but again, it all really depends on the deal, and everything's up for negotiation. That's legally up for negotiation, and that's one of those things. Home inspections and repairs. Now, if you have to do inspections and repairs for your property, that's something that will be on you. Now, home inspections can be charged to the buyer as well if they're going to do inspections. But you may want to do that so you can, especially if you're trying to fix it up to get top dollar. Again, that's another benefit of a cash buyer. They're going to be doing inspections at their own expense. They won't be doing repairs though, because usually properties come as is. But those are usually for like distressed properties or for folks again who want to trade speed and convenience, quite often for a discounted price. One of the benefits is not have to deal with inspections or repairs. And then the transfer and recording fees. Those are also common part, of course. The state that you're in will have the transfer of ownership fees and recording the new deed. All those will be a part of the closing costs that usually sellers and buyers split. But again, if you're going with a cash buyer, you want to split that. Now, the mortgage payoff, that technically the buyer is paying that for you because it's coming out of the proceeds. I have had sellers who have been in certain situations where they've actually brought money to the table so that they can get this deal closed, so they can get this burden off of their hand. As much as $10,000 that they brought, but quite often, 99% of the time, it's the proceeds from the sale, from the cash that we provide. And that's in the same thing as a traditional sale. So the mortgage has to be paid off, or any liens or back liens or encumbrances are usually paid by the sellers. The proceeds. Yeah. So if you want to holler at us, talk to us. We pay all the closing costs, quite often with the exception of the property tax and I guess technically we do pay the mortgage, and I guess technically we pay the property tax because we're using the proceeds are being used to pay that, so that's embedded in the purchase price. But all the transfer tax, all that the stuff is definitely something that we pay that doesn't cut into your proceeds. Another thing to think about when you're working with the State Pro Service or any vetted cash buyer is that they should give you a no obligation, hassle-free offer if it's their criteria. I don't try to force myself onto anyone. In fact, I quite often try to encourage people to keep the property or find some way to turn it into an asset for them as opposed to liquidating it, which I guess that could be an asset, but you can only do that one time. So no one should be trying to haggle your high pressure sales at all, and I would be very weary of folks who do that. People have different styles. It's just not my style, and not many of the people I know who are successful or have a servant's heart out there style. Again, it's a cash offering. You have to worry about the contingency of someone having to apply for a loan from a traditional lender. And quite often, these properties that are looking for speed and convenience have some distress in the property or in the seller situation. They can't really waste time waiting for all the paperwork and all the underwriting that has to happen. That's why cash offers are so powerful. So if you find a great cash buyer, they're definitely can serve you very well if that's your situation. And then for me, one of my places that I'm in and I'm passionate about is helping people make the probate process and estate planning easier. And so having an expertise or understanding of the probate process is so important. Now, I'm not an attorney or a financial advisor, not giving legal or financial advice, but I have been able to help people along the way navigate probate, where, for example, property several times happened, but recently this property that we're buying now, this person had several people come to them and make offers, but then once they realized the property to go to probate, they backed off. They didn't understand some of the intricacies and when and where you actually can buy a property in North Carolina. So having that type of expertise is so important. And there are some cash buyers out there who are probate specialists. If you find yourself with a person with a property, you find yourself with a property that needs has some related probate issues, you definitely want to find a probate specialist, because you may hear no, and quite often no is I don't know how to. And so yeah. All right. We already talked about that. But anyways, I'm Courtney Rollins. I'm about to go take some Theraflu and sit down. I haven't been able to record in the last couple of days, and I've missed being out here to talk to you. So I'm glad that I was able to get on here today, and hope it was helpful. Hope it was useful. If you did find it helpful and useful, I surely would appreciate a like and a subscribe to the channel, Facebook group. Put in your questions, your comments, and if you want to chat and talk about some ways we can support you and your getting that property done and did, phone number's down there, 443-990-1687, and would love to help, love to be a part of your journey. And until then, this is the Life in Transitions Experts YouTube channel, LITE. Let your light shine. Cheers.